Welcome to the garden. Look what is blooming. Oh my gosh, I wish the colors showed up the way it does in person, but aren't these alliums gorgeous? I love, they're like little like firecrackers or something with the smaller cluster of blooms inside, and I know girly girl's out here with me, and then these longer bloom stalks. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. I'm so glad these bloomed. So it is a kind of rainy morning here. We got rain last night and we are hopefully going to get more rain tonight. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to transplant my bush cherries inside the garden net. So as you saw in the last video, I finally got the deer fencing up around the whole garden. It seems to be holding up pretty well, although I'm also taking advantage of the fact that the soil is a little bit wet right now, so I can actually kind of like keep pushing these posts in a little bit deeper and hopefully just make sure it's extra secure. But I had planted my Hanson bush cherries and my boysenberry outside of the deer fence. Originally they were going to be inside a larger deer fence, but I've kind of closed in the fenced area of the garden, so I think I'm going to move these bush cherries. So bush cherries are really cool. They're like a 6 foot tall, 6 foot wide bush that flowers and then produces like cherries around July. It's going to be a couple years before mine actually produce anything because they were bare roots. They were little tiny twigs. So I'm hoping the transplant. You've got the shovel? You can dig a little bit. I'm hoping that the transplant shock won't be too bad. They have started to leaf out where I planted them originally, and they're doing really, really well. But they are a little bit close to this tree line, and I actually think they're going to be happier in their new location because they do want full sun. So I think it's actually going to end up being good for them. But yeah, I'm using the fact that we're going to have some rain now for the next couple days is really, really good. Like today, it's just cloudy and misty. So I think that's also going to really help with any kind of transplant shock. And then I am just going to be so careful about watering and making sure they're really getting a ton of water over the next, I don't know, probably next 2 weeks, if not longer. We're still in May, so we shouldn't be in like the full heat of the summer. I wouldn't want to do this in August or July. But, it's been getting warm. I think like last week we had temperatures in the 90s, which I think were actually like record temperatures for us. It's not usually quite that hot. And then I think next week it's going to be like more in the 70s, which is a little bit more normal and probably better for these plants. Here they are though. I've had them under these cloches just to make sure no deer or anything ate them, but they actually are getting even too big. Like for this cloche, they're too big. So I'm gonna be careful when I dig them out and make sure that I get any of the roots that have started to grow into the soil around them. And then we're gonna move them over here into this bottom corner of the garden. I think just right along the fence line here. I'm trying to decide if I should do like 1, 2, 3 in the corner or 1, 2, 3 along the front. It's kind of tempting to just put 1 here and then like 1, 2. So it kind of makes the corner of the garden. Might be kind of nice to have that. Okay, so I'm just going to push it out and we're going to dig out and around the original hole. I gotta go find my tripod. I don't know where I put it. Here we go. All right, so you can barely even see them, but we've got 1, 2, 3. They're each about 3 feet apart because they're going to grow up to be about 6 feet tall and wide. So that should make just like a nice clump there. And then we can kind of put in some flowers. I may do flowers eventually along the edges of the deer fence. I haven't fully decided. I did also dig up my boysenberry here. This is my little boysenberry plant, which I'm very excited about. And I'm actually gonna put this guy in. You need to dig? You can dig up the grass all you want. So this trough planter here, I need to add one more bag of soil, which I might go grab right now to fill this up. But I want to put the boysenberry here, and then, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Did I just snap that in half? How did that happen? I think it'll probably sprout. Okay. I think it'll probably sprout more. Oh my gosh, I might even just stick this here and see if that'll root. Oh no. Wow, okay. I'm gonna add more soil to this bed. So I'm just gonna, oh my gosh. Well, that's not good, but we'll put this guy here. There's like a little bud, so hopefully it'll re-sprout. Oh my gosh. I don't know how I broke that. I wonder if it was already weak and just me picking up, because when I picked it up, I didn't like pick it up. It wasn't very hard. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go get the water, the hose, and I'm still gonna water it in even though it's raining. All right, we'll just get that watered in. I don't know if we'll get 2 plants out of that. That might be too much, but at least we'll get that watered in. And it's starting to rain, which is really perfect. The rain is exactly what we need in this garden. We've actually got a few things sprouting already, which is perfect. Some salad more, cucumbers, I think are the first thing to sprout of all of those seeds I planted, as well as these French Filet green beans that I also planted. I really don't need to water anything. I did plant the Gara over here near the tomatoes. All right, I'm gonna go turn this water off. Hey there, so I'm heading out to the pumpkin patch to show you some exciting things. I am so glad that I got the seeds all planted a few days back, because we got that we've had like a nice couple days of rain and so much is sprouting. Still, there's still a few things that aren't. I think it's still gonna take a little while before everything's really fully kind of like coming up. Not everything has sprouted, but we have some real exciting things sprouting out here in the pumpkin patch that I'm really happy to see. And so I wanted to share with you. It's nothing like that spring rain to really just get the whole garden going. So out here, we've got these 2 big arches. And as I mentioned before, these are where the pumpkins are going. And look at these big old fat pumpkin seedlings. Oh my gosh, they're huge. Aren't they so cute? So this is a gouchy. I don't know how you want to say that. That's probably not how you pronounce that. It's like a yellow pumpkin. It has some cute little ridges, very much a decorative pumpkin, but I think it's also edible. And then unfortunately, my tag, where did my tag go? I don't know what my seed tag is for this one. I did actually do so much better at labeling everything this year. I'm really proud of myself. So far, I have stayed on top of the labeling. So it's good to know. I think I may have done too many seeds. So I planted these with my daughters, which is a bit of a wild card, but whatever. And then here is some Mesquite de Provence, and I see a little bit of pumpkin coming up there. There's also amaranth in here. And I actually did plant some sunflowers over in this section, some Evening Sun, which are those really beautiful. This is the variety I had on my arch last year, and they're like these really beautiful kind of reddish sunflowers. I'm sorry for the sound of the neighbors mowing in the background. I hope it's not too loud for you all. It's kind of that time of year, but it's just a beautiful evening, and I actually have time to get out in the garden today. So I wanted to share with you like this progress so we can kind of keep track of how it's going. So nothing else is sprouting out here yet. I did a flat white boar pumpkin on the other side of the arch, which is like a big flat kind of squatty white pumpkin. And then I also did some Jack P. Littles, which are the little tiny round one, not round, kind of like also flatter, you know, you see little Jack Be Littles everywhere. And the Jack Be Little seeds that I had were fairly old. I've had them for a while. I've been very ambitious about growing pumpkins in my very small container gardens, which not surprisingly hasn't really been like the best setup for growing pumpkins. So I really haven't grown many pumpkins, but I've been very ambitious and I've had those seeds for a long time. And unfortunately, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they sprout, and hopefully, you know, when you're planting with toddlers, there's also like, you know, did things, I don't know, did seeds get planted too deeply or whatever? It's a little hard to know. It's a little dicey. I also did, I have 2 beds here, which honestly, like a lot of this is just kind of a compost situation. I really didn't get a full layer of soil going in here. I'm just going to use it to continue to build up some leaf mold and grass clippings and compost, and just try to like build the soil in this bed and not worry too much about getting it like perfectly full. But I did put in some flower seeds in this bed and things are coming up. So I did a bunch of stuff. I had black bachelor's buttons. I put in some cosmic yellow cosmos. There's Queenie lemon peach zinnias. There's actually some yarrow and some sugar stars phlox, and just all in here. So these are probably the bachelor buttons that are coming up. Those are probably zinnias, maybe, I think. And I also did kind of like the same thing where this is just going to be composting and building these beds. I'm not worried about them not being full. I threw in a few sunflower seeds, so we have something growing in this bed. And those are also coming up. Earth Walker, which are going to be a really big, tall, beautiful sunflower. And hopefully they grow pretty well in the kind of like compost situation. I'm hoping that that works out. I'm actually going to grab, so this container here, I have a little fern growing in it. I'm also working on some container pond situations, but I haven't quite got that set up. I will take you with me on this process when I get it fully set up, but I did grab a little water hyacinth from the garden center today, and the roots on this thing are so cool. It's just a really cool plant. So I grabbed some of those, and I got some water lilies in here, and yeah, I'll just keep you updated on this process. I'm not like quite ready to really fully get the container pond going, but I do have a fern in this container. But this container actually, I never took the plug out of the drain hole, which I didn't even realize that I hadn't done that. But it's made me think now. I'm like, I actually want to do a couple container ponds up on the patio garden in my container garden. So I'm actually going to take this and transplant the ferns that are growing in here, and then actually empty out the soil and use this as another container pond up on the patio. And then I'll probably just add more containers and stuff around this central area as the season goes. I have a lot of containers, and so I'm kind of trying to let that whole process sort of sort itself out. And I also don't want to feel pressured that like I have to go buy a bunch of annuals to fill the containers. I have a couple empty, like not full containers out here. I may throw some zinnia seeds in there. I may just leave it. I may wait till mid-season. I don't know. In these beds, there's corn. I have an empty space where I'm going to do some more, probably like more pumpkins or something. But then I actually have some zinnias. These I just threw a bunch of Queenie orange zinnias in here. This is not a Pino tag. I transplanted some of my seed plants out of here, and I never took the tags with me. And then I also have corn. So this is actually glass gem corn, which you can eat glass gem corn, but I'm going to be growing this as a decorative thing. And I thought it'd be fun in the bed, and also like the trellis here will actually just, I can use it to kind of hold the plants up. So I think that'll work really well. But that's exciting. And just like, look at the rain. This is some, I got birdhouse gourds planted over here. No sign of those sprouting yet. But like some licorice basil, which is just gonna be really pretty. Pollinators love this. Look how well it's growing. This is not ideal. You should fill your beds so much more than this. This is gonna be sort of a problem for me throughout the season. But I just have put in so many beds, and just like, it's too much for me to try to fill them. So I'm just gonna be bringing in compost back here in the fall when we have all the leaves and everything. We'll fill them up with leaves, and we'll have, some potting mix that we probably can recycle from some of the containers, and just kind of, I'm just gonna like slowly let these beds fill up, knowing that it's gonna happen. We're gonna make it happen. I'm not going to put a bunch of pressure on myself to go buy more soil when, I mean, I already bought like beds and stuff, and you know, it just gets to be a lot. So that's what I'm doing. But if you are a new gardener and you're watching this, don't do, if you're able to fill up your beds, that's one of those like garden things that you don't like. It's better not to skimp out on. Last year I did not fill my beds either because it was a temporary garden and I knew I'd be moving, and it's just harder. Like the plants can't reach up and get the sunlight as easy or something. Like it just doesn't work quite as well. I can't really identify why it wouldn't work as well, but it just doesn't. Aside from not, you know, looking perfect, right? It kind of like looks not great, but it also just it doesn't work as well. So the flowers out here, they look a little, there was a lot of rain, so they look a little like deflated from the rain. I may need to come out and do a little fertilizing when I see that. That's telling me I should probably fertilize. Deadhead. I'm just going to throw that back in here because composting is the name of the game here. I don't really know Gara if you're supposed to deadhead the Gara. Get the little Angelonia. I got some new Angelonia. I have a fun next video. I'm going to be doing some updates to container garden. And I got some really fun Angelonia that I can't wait to share with you. But yeah, I'm going to take this very soggy, very full, heavy container of ferns back up to the container garden. I think I can get away. It rained this morning, it was pretty wet, so the soil looks okay. I think I can get away with not watering tonight, which would be nice. So I think I'm going to just take a little, like, enjoy having a break from watering, and then, of course, I'll be out watering again, although it's looking like maybe we have some chances at getting a little bit more regular rain coming up here. I think, you know, it's sort of looking a little bit promising, so hopefully we get a little bit more of our spring rain. I mean, usually Virginia, it's pretty wet, it's pretty rainy. So the other must do on the list tonight is I'm actually going to plant in a couple of raspberry bushes that I have for next to the boysenberry, which I think is surviving me snapping it off at the top. So I have 2 sweet repeat raspberries. So they are going to produce multiple rounds of berries. They're a full-size raspberry plant, so they're going to get nice and big. And as with raspberries, they can spread. They can spread with tubers underground. So that's why I don't know if I talked about this earlier. It's like a couple days later, so I can't even remember what I said when I planted the boysenberry. But anyways, you just kind of want to contain those brambly things unless you have space for them to ramble around. And I just want to make sure that I'm not ready to have any plants like break loose in the garden. I'm not planting any mint anywhere near the ground, you know, nothing like that. Like I'm not ready to be dealing with something like that. So I'm just going to put them in the trough. But yeah, I was really excited to find like the sweet repeat because they'll do, I believe, yeah, like an early round and then a fall round of raspberries. So you just get more fruit, which, you know, I'm not going to be having like tons and tons and tons of berry plants, and I'm not going to be having them, you know, all over different places. So that's kind of nice because you just get a little bit more berries for the same amount of berry bushes. I think the second harvest, if I remember when I was reading, that the second harvest is slightly like a smaller berry harvest, but I think it's cool. And there's nothing like homegrown raspberries fresh off the plant, or just any raspberry fresh off the plant is so delicious and so incredible. So I'm really excited about those plants. They're going to be inside the deer fence because, as we learned, deer still want to eat raspberries, which is crazy to me, but they do. So yeah, I'm going to go get that planted in now. I just came in the garden gate and look, the first tomato blossoms. Oh, pretty soon this will be ready to train up. These are sun golds, the classic, gorgeous. Just like a super well producing, great standard variety. And I'm not surprised that it's the first one. I probably could just like pull these leaves off, honestly, and just put some soil over here, and it would probably root into the ground and actually work really well. But I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna plant raspberries. Here are the baby raspberry plants. They have come back really beautifully since they got eaten all the way down by the deer. I'm just gonna pop them in the soil. decided to put this boysenberry in, I'm gonna grab the other pot, in the pot from the raspberries and take it up to the patio. Ooh, oh my gosh, I just shook it. Take it up to the patio and try to nurse it back to life. Just the chances of it getting dried out being out here in the big garden are so much higher than if I just have it up by the containers where I really can water everything all the time. I can just set it even in a pot with some water and make sure it stays really hydrated. I'm so bummed. I mean, worst case, I'll just order another one. But I'm just like, it was looking so good and I feel so bad. This is the problem when you plant things and you have to change plans, and then accidents like this do happen and it's a bummer. So it's kind of my own, I mean, it's my own mistake, and if it's a loss, it's a loss, my own indecision. But hopefully, I don't know, hopefully it'll come back to life. I think there's probably a decent chance. The cherries are doing okay. I'm gonna water them now, and I am gonna water in the raspberries because even though there's a bit of rain, I wanna make sure that they really stay hydrated just so that we don't have any transplant shock. But luckily it's been gray most of today, not too hot, and we got another couple days of not too hot weather, so hopefully they'll be okay and they won't suffer too much, because it is hard. It is hard on them when you put them through a move like that, especially when they came out of their dormancy so beautifully and we're so happy, and now they're kind of they look a little bit wilty, but not too bad. So I'm gonna water those, and then I'm gonna probably go do some work on the containers. But thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll talk to you again soon.